My experience in diversity explored the gay and lesbian community. I got to know certain individuals, spent time with them, and worked with them. I asked them how I could be a better teacher to students who are gay or lesbian. This presentation will explore 5 of those journeys. The first interview is of a woman who has enjoyed a distinguished career in teaching. She remembered feeling same-sex curiosities as early as age 10. She was a nun for 25 years before coming out and leaving the habit. She joined the LGBT community where she received support for feelings of shame and guilt. Professionally, she has found no strong prejudice against her as a lesbian from fellow teachers. Her classroom advice would be to celebrate all diversity. She suggests hanging up posters to display a variety of diversity, including posters showing a child with 2 dads or 2 moms, and includes same-sex discussions in all talks of diversity. The second interview is of a young man who grew up in a small town in midwestern Minnesota. He waited to come out until age 28 and described community feelings towards gays as being strongly based on stereotypes. He knew at age 12 he had same-sex attractions, but he internalized these emotions to protect himself. He believes that in the past, youth have been so conditioned by stereotypes to look, act, or talk a specific way that being an individual can be a challenge. His suggestions for the classroom is to break the cycle of stereotypes through discussions of acceptance. He also suggests replacing the word husband or wife with the word partner. The third interview is of a man from a small Minnesota town. He describes noticing a same-sex curiosity at age 5. This led to attractions of same-sex friends and caused many friendships to end bitterly. It's hard to be honest, he says, with others when you are not honest with yourself. Being gay was taboo. Feelings of denial and guilt led to a dependence on alcohol for many years, and he confessed to 3 separate suicide attempts. After he came out at age 22, he found much support from his family. He believes that labels lead to misconceptions that block people's visions of a true character of a person. His suggestions for the classroom are that teachers need to be equipped with the tools to teach proper coping skills to support those who are struggling with identity. The fourth interview is of a man from small-town southern Minnesota, and he remembers having same-sex curiosities around age 6. He began to notice his attractions grow stronger through elementary and middle school. The subject of homosexuality was taboo at home and at school. He remembers thinking, "Dad will sure kill me if he ever finds out," so he chose to live with his secret through adolescence. The word fag was as common at school as the word hi. He remembers bullying being a big issue all through school. Teachers did little to prevent it. Going to school meant living in constant fear and caused him much anxiety. He came out in college and moved to the Twin Cities, where he got involved with the gay community and found much support. Personal identity, he says, is most important. We should nurture what is natural. And his classroom suggestions are to teach students the words they choose can really hurt. Teach more tolerant language and allow for self-expression to blossom. The final interview is of a man who grew up in a town of only a few hundred people. Everyone knew everything about everyone. He cannot recall when he first realized a same-sex curiosity, but the feelings grew stronger throughout school. He remembers thinking in a town that small, every move was calculated, and being gay was not an option. He got married to his girlfriend after high school because that's what was expected of him. His marriage brought him 4 beautiful children, but marriage to his wife did not bring fulfillment. The marriage ended in 2009 and he came out soon after, at age 49. He regrets not ending the marriage sooner because he was not being honest with himself or his family. He imagines the fears of coming out at age 49 are similar to those at age 18. His relationship with his children and grandchildren continues to strengthen. He now lives happily with his partner, with the hope of one day getting married. He recommends that teachers not put too much emphasis on gender roles. I've worked in education for 10 years, and I've had gay students. I've seen them struggle with shame, with rejection, with identity, and I've witnessed educators be snide to them, neglect them, and forget them. I don't work in middle school or in high school. I work in an elementary school. Students recognize their differences at an early age, long before they ever tell an adult. It's our job as educators to celebrate and encourage the differences of each student. A quote from Gallup.com states that over the last few decades, landmark legal cases, medical discoveries, and movies and TV shows have done much to increase acceptance towards homosexuality in American culture. The American public's recognition of homosexuality as a lifestyle, although still relatively limited, has never been more widespread than it is now, largely because of the opinions of young adults. A Gallup poll last May found 52% of adult Americans believe homosexuality is acceptable. The poll also showed that a stronger majority, 62% of young adults aged 18 to 29, consider homosexuality acceptable. As the age bracket increases, this opinion decreases. Times, they are a-changin'. This indicates that today's youth is indeed becoming more tolerant. And just how many people are lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender in America? Well, an estimated 3.5% of adults, that's 9 million people, or the population of New Jersey, make up that community. Bullies, the ones who do and the ones who do nothing. LGBT members face physical assault regularly. 39% have been physically harassed by being shoved or pushed. 27% have been physically harassed specifically on gender expression. And 64% felt unsafe in school, specifically due to their sexual orientation. 30% of all teen suicide is related to bullying due specifically to sexual orientation. LGBT members also face verbal assault at an even higher rate than physical assault. 78% in school hear the word faggot or dyke 25 times or more per day. 19% heard similar comments from teaching staff. 83% reported the teaching staff never or only sometimes intervened when present for those remarks. In closing, always remember that as teachers, we lead by example. Make sure you set the correct one.